SRO Magazine presents Backstage Rocklahoma 2014.
The event mankind has been waiting for.
Rocklahoma 2014 and SRO Magazine is there interviewing all the hottest acts in rock music today.
This is FERG with SRO Magazine, and we are live backstage Rocklahoma 2014, and this man needs no introduction. This is Tom Keifer, former frontman for Cinderella. And how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. How's it to be back at Rocklahoma?
It's a blast, man. Really cool. Great crowd today, and it's fun. We did it with Cinderella. We played with ZZ Top, maybe I think 2010.
Yeah.
So I was excited to come back and play with my new band, and we had a good time tonight.
Yeah, we got to hear it. I didn't get to out see it. We were back here, but I caught you when. Well, I've seen you with Cinderella throughout the years, probably about 5-6 times, man.
Yeah,
been a fan.
A lot.
Yeah. You've had a couple of shows. I mean, you'll probably get the hang of it here before too long, won't you?
I lost count.
It is. I mean, it's truly an honor. I mean, I'm not only a fan and any trying to interview you, and it's one of those nervous things where you go, because I've seen you, Lord, back in I think it was you guys and David Lee Roth, on that tour, and that was the first time I saw you, and I was amazed, loved your voice through the years, and but your solo work, The Way Life Goes. When you were looking at, you're doing what I read is you were putting together the album throughout the years.
Yes.
And but how did it all come together, and you decide, man, we're going to do this?
Well, it started off, the idea of a solo record, I started thinking about in the 90s, because the wheels were coming off the 80s rock thing, and
Right.
Cinderella lost our deal, as many bands did.
Right.
And I started writing for it then. But then Cinderella got back together, and we signed a record deal, and we were going to make a record, and that ended up in the courts. The cool thing about that was we started touring again. We had a very, very successful touring, a lot of tours since then, but we never got the opportunity to get the record squashed by some, for lack of a better word, bullshit, legal.
Right.
And at that time, it was around 2003 when we were tied up with the legal thing that I decided to come back to the idea of my solo record. And it was really not even a record at the time. It was just kind of like, I want to go out in the studio with some people that I like. I'd been living in Nashville for a while, play with some of these really great musicians here. I worked with my wife on it and write with people. I wrote with her and a whole bunch of other writers, and we produced it together. And it was just kind of like, at first, just like, let's just go record some songs. Mm-hmm. And then we'd take a break, and I'd go on the road with Cinderella and get away from it, come back and go, oh, they're pretty cool. Let's record a few more, And over 10 years, it was like that.
Wow.
And then one day I just woke up and I was like, man, this feels like a record. There was no label involved at that point.
Right.
And we financed it and did it all on our own dime and time. And then we got it mastered and took it around and shopped it to labels, and we found an amazing label called Merrivy Records. They're an independent, but very, very strong, very skilled in the marketing and promotion thing. And they loved the record from the get-go, and I just love them like family, and they've really done a great job with the record. So,
are you continuing to write and put together? Was there things that you've written for The Way Life Goes that didn't make it to the album that you still got out there that you're still wanting to bring, or ideas?
Yeah, there certainly are songs left over. I've been asked if there's another record in the works, and I think that's. I take things one day at a time. I didn't think I'd be on tour this year for The Way Life Goes. Never in my wildest dreams that I think the label, we'd still be working the record and releasing singles and on tour with this band. So I'm just taking it one day at a time. I mean, we could be next year too.
Right.
I hope so.
How does it feel to be? And you've been relevant for a long time, and you've been a name in rock and roll for these many years, and now with the solo and people are finding out, and a lot of the kids are finding out more about Cinderella and Tom. And how does it feel to be still doing it after all these years and having a good time and people loving your stuff?
Man, I just feel grateful, and blessed, because I've just the fans for Cinderella, and now it's continuing with my solo thing, is just amazing. And I never forget that they're the ones that give the songs to life and keep the songs alive and make them, as you said, relevant 30 years later. And that's just like, to me, it's just grateful.
When you
I
write,
can't complain, brother.
oh no, man,
You know?
it beats digging ditches and yeah, it really does, doesn't it?
Amen.
When you write, what do you how do you come up with things, or is it just the drop of a hat, or it may be an idea, or it may be this?
I'm
And
not like an appointment writer. To me, the song, I try to let the song come to me. So you'd be driving down the road, you'd be flying on an airplane, you're in aisle 6 of Home Depot, and you just hear this melody and lyric in your head. And then at that point, I'm racing for an instrument. And then you try and start, figuring out this thing that's playing in your head. And that's how it happens.
you ever pulled over on the side of the road?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, just a couple questions about Cinderella. What's
Usually I'll write down like lyrics or something. I've never used a voice memo. Or
really?
anything. Well, because to me, that's my natural sifting process. If I can't remember it, it's no good.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I've never used, people will go like, oh, I have an idea, and immediately sing it into a voice memo.
That's what I have to
I got
do.
an idea, but I don't have time to sit down and write it right now. If I still remember it 6 months from now, maybe I'll sit down and write it.
See, I like that. I just have that, short-term memory loss and I'll just go.
Well, if the melody can survive that, think how good it is.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
See?
Hey, just a couple
There's
of.
a method to it.
There is.
You got short-term memory loss and you're still remembering that hook, you
See,
might want to
that's-
sit down and write it.
Yeah. Excellent. I will remember that. I hope. I really do hope. Hey, going back to just a couple, Gypsy Road, some of those, they're classic songs in rock and roll. Is it neat just to hear those sometimes, and what kind of memories do those bring back? And, the people still love them. When you play them, it's just...
Well, yeah, I still love playing those songs. I know a lot of artists. I've heard of artists who say, "Oh, I don't want to play my hits," or "I don't want to play anything old," or this or that. It's like to me, that was the common bond. Those songs between us and me and the fans. That was the common ground. It was like obviously I relate to those lyrics and melody because I wrote it, and obviously they do too. And that's what, So I always say that playing Nobody's Fool and Shelter Me and Gypsy Road and Coming Home and Night Songs, all those songs live, it's like, because you have that common bond that you have with the fans, it's like they make it feel like the first time every time you walk on that stage for me, whether it's a Cinderella show or my own shows that I've been doing, the songs mean something to them. So I never understood that. No, we're not going to, bands that do the no hits tour, and we're not going to play anything old, or not me. I love playing them.
You like the old ones and like the new ones?
I love the new ones too. I've
Do you
been
ever
having a lot of
sneak
fun playing Solid Ground, and we do much more of the new stuff in the show normally. We only have 40 minutes tonight.
Right.
I can't remember the last time I had a 40-minute set, so I had to do some serious thinking. So what I was going to cut out.
Yeah.
And I figured in this situation, probably more Cinderella was better suited. So we played the singles from the record, and the rest was Cinderella, and the Joe Cocker song, which is fun.
Yeah. And
It's actually a Beatles song. Joe Cocker version of the Beatles, and now my version of Joe Cocker's version of the Beatles.
So, Cinderella, you guys going to be touring?
Not for a while. We didn't tour all last year because my record got released last year in like the late spring, and we actually started touring in February before, because I wanted to put a band together and have this become a band before the record was even released, because that's something that was a little scary for me, quite honest. I've been in the same bubble as Cinderella for years, and the whole 10 years I was making the solo record, I'm thinking, I'm eventually going to have to put a band together and tour this, and it's just like, it just freaked me out. But the amazing thing was, I kind of held it, this is a very brief version of the story, but these guys were the first guys that walked in the room, and it just sounded like magic.
Really?
Yeah, so.
Man, that makes it easy.
Yeah, it was real easy. They're amazing musicians and great guys too. So,
well, sir, I appreciate you taking the time today.
Thanks a lot, brother. Yeah, this big guy over here is about to grab me by the neck.
This is FERG with SRO Magazine, live backstage, Rocklahoma 2014, with Tom Keifer. Thank you very much, man. Anytime you ever need anything, we're here.
For more information on Rocklahoma 2014 and for all your music and entertainment news, you know where to go. Go to SRO. That's SROMagInc.com. SRO is sponsored by Kick-Ass Cables, PhDRadio.com, Robert's Guitar, TDLMusicGroup.com. The SRO audio and video was done by Carson Drive Studios and SROMagZine.com.